You're listening to a Time Machine podcast. Old Movie Time Machine. An adventure through time and or space. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Old Movie Time Machine. Season 2, everybody. Justin Zeppa here, joined as ever by Shrishma Naik, Katherine Sherlock, and my sister and yours, Carolyn Naoroz. Hey, gang. Welcome back to the program. We did it. We're here.
Yay.
Yes. Lovely to have you. We're just back from our hiatus. We're all refreshed, recovering from different adventures and projects through the summer. I mean, the heat, you guys, right? My God, the heat, never ending.
Yes.
But
I was exposed to 2 different levels of heat this summer.
2 different levels.
Yes.
What is level 1?
One was level of hell in Texas.
Texas. All right.
And then one was a little less level of not as hot in London. So
not as hot as Texas. Okay, interesting.
Yes, because Texas was in the 40s, and London was in the 30s.
Okay, both of those are absurdly warm. We don't
right
want to be up
for someone living in Iceland. Yes.
Indeed. And you guys, we will notice that we're not doing the intro. We've got 50 episodes with the intro. If you need to know what the show's about at this point, go listen to one of the old ones. It explains everything. We're trying some different things out this season just to make for a better show. So right now, what we're going to do is item number 1 is the prolonged walkthrough of the film is kind of off the table right now. So we're going to start talking about today's movie in summary form. But before I do that, let's address the elephant in the room, why I have inflated all of these orange and black party balloons that are surrounding me right now. It's because it is Hitchcocktober. Yay! All right. This is what we live for. This is the highlight of our season, and it's also the debut of our season. We're learning from our past mistakes. We're not going to talk so much about Alfred Hitchcock because, as we know, he is a very awful person, according to the people who have worked with him.
Handsy man.
That's right. He certainly is. Alfred Handscock. That's what we sometimes call him. All right. But it is, it's the spooky season, you guys. And I feel like I've brought it up in the past, but I'd like to remind you all, I love fall. You guys, I love fall. And that's where we are. We're planted firmly in fall right now, and we're gonna just.
You're a fool for fall.
I am. I really am. I'm a fall fool.
Yeah.
You know what else I love? Fall. Write it down.
How many pumpkin spice lattes have you had?
I've had. Well, there are no Starbucks notoriously in Iceland, so no more pumpkin spice lattes for me. But in my heart,
many.
I'm savoring one. Yes, exactly. And so we're going to bring you some murder and mayhem and some mental illness this month, starting with today's motion picture, Dial M for Murder.
That's a murder house.
Let's kick things off with one-line reviews, starting as ever with Shrishma Naik.
Yes, we can. I can go first. My one-line review is, despite the gaslighting efforts going on in this movie, I did enjoy this entertaining murder mystery, which was not so much a mystery, but still entertaining.
Now, they do that thing that you like so much, where they explain exactly what's happening and ruin the surprise for but this time it's okay for you?
I guess because this time I understood because we've done this before, right? So I understood what he was trying to do. So I guess I kind of went along with it. It was still quite, enjoyable, I would say.
Okay. Love to hear it. What about my sister and yours, Carolyn Naoroz? Dr. Sister, do you have a one-line review for Dial M for Murder?
Yes, my one-line review is that this is a very polite film about adultery and attempted murder.
Yeah, it's very buttoned down, isn't it? Very 1950s, very perhaps English. I don't know. Maybe we'll get some input from, we call her the Hammer, Katherine Sherlock. Do you have a one-line review for Dial M for Murder?
Yeah. Do you?
I do not. Nobody likes my one-line review anyway. It's always crammed in at the end. We're fixing the format. So get that out of there. I'll do the summary. You guys are the funny
You
ones.
don't have to do a review. Okay.
Yeah. Very busy.
All right. So here we go. Cold, complex, calculated, will have no displays of emotion here. Stiff upper lip.
So, okay, in complete agreement with Dr. Sister's analysis as well. This is, they're wound pretty tight. 1954, it feels like.
Yeah.
Now,
I think it was really the last scene that kind of sealed that one, where it all unravels in front of everybody. And he just
have a drink.
Quite jolly, goes and has a drink. And then, how about you, Margot? Would you like a drink? She's like, yes, I really would quite like a drink.
Oh my God, that and just in general, every sort of moment of like, she's got her lover over and the three of them are just hanging out, looking at press clippings of old tennis matches.
Well, okay, now when they're looking at the clippings, he's not supposed to know that they're lovers, right? Like that's not revealed officially until later, I believe.
Yeah,
they're just
I
friends,
guess technically he doesn't know, but regardless,
he knows.
Come on,
well, he knows.
He knows, and
he
she
doesn't.
knows, and they're just sitting there like snuggling on the couch and like, look at this, and Maharaja from blah blah blah. And it's like, oh God.
I should like to know what making out means.
The time is 1954. The space is London, England. Margot Windus is a wealthy heiress married to Tony, a recently retired tennis pro. However, she has been keeping a flame burning for Mark Halliday, a mystery writer from the U.S. she had met and had some kind of affair with a year prior. Mark is returning to town and anxious to see her, as is she, though she recognizes that her husband Tony has been behaving differently the past year. Little do they know that Tony is well aware of their affair and has cooked up quite a scheme to get back at them and collect his wife's fortune. Investing quite a lot of time stalking and blackmailing his way into the life of Charles Swan, a former classmate turned con man, Tony corners him into murdering his wife with a clever plan, a hidden key, and some relatively untraceable cash. So maybe we divide this up to the plotting and scheming, the murder, and then the finding out, like solving the murder. How about that? Like 3 different phases. So women of old movie time machine, let's talk about our protagonist, Margot, played by Grace Kelly here. Stone cold hottie, by the way. Looking amazing. Princess Grace, right? She does. I had no idea that Grace Kelly only did 11 films in her career before.
You didn't know that?
Well, I mean, I knew that she got married and became royalty, but I didn't realize that her film career was so short.
She was quite young when she was in her mid to late 20s. I don't know the exact age when she actually married Prince of Monaco.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in large part, like, I think some of her films even her later films wouldn't be shown there towards the wedding, if I'm not mistaken, because it's like, well, that's now going to be our new princess, like HRH. So they didn't, and I can't remember what film it was, but I feel like there was one that wasn't released until much later after the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, as soon as she like got engaged, it was like, I'm taking everything off my schedule and never working again.
Yeah, I mean, why would you?
That would be nice.
Yeah, you're royalty. That's what we need to do. We need to find some royals, some loose royals.
It seems though it doesn't seem to go well for Americans. I mean, I think.
Well, she dies tragically in a car crash. Is that right?
Mm-hmm, car
yeah,
accident. Okay. And obviously, this Meghan Markle has many opinions about her.
How do we feel about Margot's behavior to kick off this film? She's in this marriage she's not happy with, but she's had this. Do we think that they slept together a year ago, or did they just,
have
fall
spaghetti
for each other and then talk about it? Yeah, and eat spaghetti, right?
Yeah, no. There's more than meatballs going on there.
Okay. Yeah. Can I also ask? So this is something I didn't learn until I moved to Richmond and married my husband. But there, I guess, was the term spaghetti dinners. Does that mean anything to you guys?
Spaghetti dinners?
Yes.
I mean. No.
Is that a sexual innuendo?
Yes, it is. Which
What?
I guess,
Is it?
yeah, but and I don't know if it's a
Like a
colloquial.
Cleveland steamer?
I don't know if it's a colloquial Virginia term or whatever. But he's like, "Oh yeah, a spaghetti dinner." I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
What's a spaghetti? I mean,
It's swingers. People who are swingers would invite you over for a spaghetti dinner.
Oh, okay. You know what? We have something similar to that over here, but it's pineapples. Like if you're do you guys Icelanders, do you not know about this?
No.
If you go to so the word is if you go to
Which in the
grocery
South,
store-
a pineapple is just a sign of hospitality, by the way, in America.
Yeah, okay. Well, again, let's be careful out there, people. Let's try to avoid international incidents wherever possible. Just be sensitive to the fact that things have different meanings.
Pineapples have different meanings.
Yeah. No, if you go to the grocery store and on Stelchinnes Peninsula, the Hakkoip over there, and you put a pineapple in your shopping cart and kind of wander around, that's like a signal to other
Swingers
people in the lifestyle. Yes. So, and this is the rumor. I don't know. There's like news articles about this. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think one of you should go test it out.
I'm going to investigate.
Yeah, do some Googles on it. Oh, are you going to try it out?
Maybe we should just go around with like pineapples. And
Will you
just
pick me up?
see.
I'll go with you. Let's just
You guys should really do a field trip and like go shopping together just to put some.
We'll do some reels on it. Okay.
Investigates.
Yeah.
I might ask an actual Icelander as well.
Oh yeah, I mean that's probably advisable, but I think let's start this year's promises list by circling back around on this.
Okay.
Maybe next
Promises
episode.
you don't intend to keep.
Yep, exactly. That should be a drop, right? Let's make
I'm
that.
just showing you the pineapple. You're not having the pineapple.
I would like the drop to actually be Cogsworth, though.
Oh yeah, no, I will pull that.
Yes, pull that sound clip. It needs to be Cogsworth.
Well, there's the usual things: flowers, chocolates, promises you don't intend to keep.
Saying
Yes, because we're talking Old David Time Machine, we're going to drop Old David Time Machine's music in there as well. So
right,
Old David Time Machine.
Guys, the drops are flying fast and furious. It's a whole new season, you know.
Long eyeballs.
More focus, more business, less intro, more drops.
Get with us. There's a lot more drops this season.
Promises list.
You go right up this road about 2 miles,
Season
you'll come right
2.
center town.
Pineapple.
Joan is my maid.
So that would be so confusing if that were this like sign in this area. And I'm just thinking about it. Like, there's also like that scene in Cabaret, the musical, where they sing about the pineapple. Like, a gentleman caller brings his lady a pineapple, and they sing this whole song about it. And it's like a pineapple for me, because he's a purveyor of fancy fruits.
Maybe that's how people
In 1930s Germany.
Their parties, their swinger parties.
I don't know. But in the South, it's like you'll see like people will have the pineapple on their flag, or they'll have like the stone pineapple at their like driveway. It's a sign of hospitality in the American South.
Okay. And also, please come.
I guess. So that would be shocking.
The ultimate hospitality.
Right.
Well,
that's a great point, Shirley. I mean,
you're
that's,
welcome to stay in my house and have my wife.
Now, this is what I've heard about this famous Virginian hospitality, Carolyn. I've been to Mount Vernon. They talk about it there. You know, if you travel a long distance back in the day, you are welcome to a bed at somebody's house if you show up on their
There might be someone else in that bed, but hey,
maybe
we keep it in the family.
Maybe it's my bed. Yeah, exactly. Right. So I don't know. Maybe we're uncovering some hidden history there. Maybe that's
we might need to further explore.
We're going to do some field research on it for sure. Check it out.
I should like to know what making out means.
But let's get back to the spaghetti dinner in this one.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think they were having more than spaghetti.
So they were doing it. Okay, great. Good.
I bet those meatballs weren't the only balls involved.
I mean, it was there. You had to take it. I guess somebody had to take it.
Catherine kind of
low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit.
Well done.
Low-hanging meatballs.
Catherine, you are on fire today.
I'm not even mentioning the pineapple of shame that I had at one point.
Pineapple shame? There's no shame. Just embrace it, Catherine. If that's who you are, if you're a pineapple person, embrace it. You be you. It's the 21st century. No shame.
Just didn't realize there were connotations.
Oh, okay. That kind of shame. I see.
Well, if someone invites you over for either pineapple or spaghetti, you will think twice and be like, wait, what?
Wait, what is it?
We're just educating the masses.
With that kind of offer, it sounds like even if you don't know the connotations, like you're still winning if you say yes to that invitation. You know, like if it turns out to be a big plate of spaghetti and some pineapple,
great,
lovely. Great.
Right.
If it turns out to be some kind of hot wifing incident, like also great. Love it. Love to be a part of it. Okay, so let's stay focused here, guys. Come on.
Sorry.
Season 2, all right?
You and your rabbit-faced wife can both go to hell.
Affair, yes. Affairs are happening. Sorry, I'm getting
Does this impact how I didn't mind at all for some reason. Like it didn't impact my impression of her as the hero and that we're supposed to root for, right? Like
I'm actually more curious why she married the tennis pro in the first place, because he just seems like a complete asshole in general.
Yeah, he's a very, very cold fish, and I mean, clearly he just wanted to go around the world and but he care about like dragging his wife around and whatever.
But I also get the sense that she was like into that at some point, where she was, because then he's like, well, she dropped me when she didn't want me to play tennis, but she liked me because I played tennis. Sort of the motives there for that marriage itself, I was sort of confused.
Because he was a star, maybe. So there was there was that aspect.
But he also he needed her for his money, for the money that she had.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Because there was a financial aspect to it, which is why he wanted to murder her and not just divorce her.
Well, you know, if you're a pro tennis player, and I'm guessing at that point they weren't having large sports sponsorships, so
he played at Wimbledon though.
Yeah, but that's all. Okay.
I don't think they had big cash prizes back in those days. I mean, now, I mean, these people are like considered professionals, but I think back in the day it was more amateur.
Well,
you could still be a star, but you know, it's about the gentleman athlete.
Yeah,
sure.
For sure.
No purse, but definitely like he got trophies. Like that apartment was littered with tennis
but
trophies.
He typically would have also probably, like you said, a cash prize with that trophy, which could have been like, you know, 10,000 pounds or something. I don't know. But this tennis, golf, and obviously equestrian sports, they fall in that country club set where you have to be moneyed to have access to a horse, a court, or horses.
That's true. If he's playing at a professional level, then he's come from some kind of infrastructure that supports that. And it's not like today where there are infinite, academies to send your 12-year-old off to do their sports, right, and learn from people.
Right.
I can't imagine Tony at Wimbledon fantasy camp, hanging out with insert famous old tennis player here. So, we're fine with Margot. Tony's rather cold and sociopathic.
Yeah. I mean, did that opening scene where it literally just opens on their breakfast kiss. I was just immediately like, oh,
zero chemistry, negative chemistry.
It was just like, it was, I don't know, it was just like, so kissing the back of your hand.
I mean, and then the entire scene where he has Swan over and is going through like just deadpan, completely like going over his plan to murder his wife. And it's just like, and then you'll do this and then this. And he's wiping things down while he's doing it. I'm like, wow, you are, a sociopath.
Yes. Yeah. On that note, though, the wiping things down, so that particular part of that scene reminds me a lot of Wait Until Dark, which some of you may have seen. Shrishma says no. Catherine, you ever seen Wait Until Dark? Oh, okay. Okay. It's in the drive. You should check it out.
It's so good. Can we do that as like part of Hitchcocktober? I know it's not a Hitchcock, but like, can we do that as an October film?
Well, I do feel like we are going to be talking Audrey this season. I feel like people love Audrey as much as we do. So we're going to see more of her. There's some plans in the works. So stay tuned. But yeah, so Wait Until Dark, we have a very similar scene. Now that movie came out in 1967, I want to say. So it's possibly inspired by his film, which was pretty famous when it came out, and the film was based off of a stage play, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah. I was going to say, you can tell, much like with much like with Rope, one set.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you could put Rope in this film like just side by side in its own set of Hitchcockiness. As you're like, it's a stage play,
right? And I would also put Wait Until Dark in the same category. Now, I think the difference between Wait Until Dark and Rope is the fact that those apartments are massive, you know, like that, because they're building the movie on just the one space, they make the space pretty huge and pretty flexible and dynamic for different storytelling needs. Yes. And in this case, I mean, this place is tiny that they're living in.
It is quite claustrophobic when you realize it's literally just like that living room, a bedroom with a bathroom off it.
Mm-hmm. And then the little kitchen in the corner.
My original word for my one review wasn't polite, but cozy, because of how cozy this is. I was like, I like this, like the big, beautiful windows in the back with the, the shutters inside and sort of like a fireplace and the layout. I'm like, I'd live there. I like it.
I mean, it's high ceilings, lovely fireplace. You know, it's got
but cozy.
But cozy.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a nice space. Oh my God, that bar is huge. Oh, I have pictures of it too. I didn't bring them up, but it doesn't matter. We don't need pictures right now.
I was just like that. I like this house. I was all about that living room setup. It was great.
Well, in the living room, I mean, that is one of the boxes that we do check on our program. So, I mean, it is great to talk about it. One of the other things that we talk about, guys, is the hat index. And I did want to real quick give you a report on the hat index for Dial M for Murder. Where are we at with society? Wearing hats? Is it on the upswing? Is it at a peak? Is it on the downswing? I think we're peak hat, you guys, because I just took like a quick and dirty count here of our guy Mark Halliday disembarking off the Queen Mary, right? The ship that brings him over from the States. And we see 16 passengers leaving the ship. 14 of them have a hat. That makes 87.5% on the hat index. So
some great math work, Justin.
Thank you so much. I mean, I did cross some numbers. You know that it's not my strong suit. I did fail my accounting exam in my master's. I had to retake it. Other quick and dirty math. What? I'm not proud of it. I got through. I passed.
I'm not a math. I'm not a math whiz. I mean, I got a B in statistics.
That's better than a zero. How about this math whiz? Did anybody crunch the numbers on the cash that was changing hands here?
No, I did not.
I got it for you. Don't even bother looking up. Okay, so
great.
We have Charles Swan, right? The guy who gets bullied into murdering Margot. He gets offered £1,000, which in today dollars would be £35,000. So pretty good contract there, I would say, for half hours of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. I think that is probably accurate. I would say, look, I don't have any information to support that, but tens of thousands for a contract killing. Let us know. Party line at oldmovietimemachine.com. How much would you charge to kill somebody?
I'm not sure I want to know that, honestly.
What do you got against people doing a little shooting now and then? Let off a little steam.
It would have to be at least
I don't want to know, but
wait, Shrishma, say that again. Sorry.
I said at least $1.5 million.
£1.5 million pounds?
Dollars.
For you to do.
Dollar. Okay, for you to do it.
Yeah. No amount of money.
And that's still on the lower side.
Okay. But that would cover the cost of your guilt and all of that?
Yeah, I think so.
Therapy for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. Now, she is worth Margot's fortune, by the way, of £90,000. That shakes out to about £3.5 million.
All right, so she's wait, and they never go into what she's an heiress of, or
they don't do any background.
No, I have that question of like, I don't think she doesn't work, right? I think she just comes from money. I think it's just a family thing, right? I think he does talk about that when he's explaining it to Swan at the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. But they probably
if they met because he was a tennis star, you know.
She's gallivanting and around tennis tourneys, right? She's making the scene, society scene. Yeah,
right.
So. But this does lead me to my next question, which involves the scrapbook, the potential proposed scrapbook of Tony's clippings that they have gathered of his tennis career. And it does play into the plot later because, organizing a scrapbook will require the use of scissors. Hint, hint. We'll talk about it in a minute. All of this is predicated on, darling, why don't you stay home and make this scrapbook about my career? And she's just like, I've just been so busy. I definitely want to do it. I'm so busy. I can't get around to it. What is she busy doing? This is my question, because again, I don't think she works. She's coming for money. She's partying with the pro tennis circuit of the 1950s in Europe.
She has to party.
If I didn't work,
it takes up time.
If I didn't work and I had
living
money,
in high society,
I'd be busy.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I'd be very busy. I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I'm traveling because I've got this and my horses.
I see.
That's true.
I see. So
these horses.
Okay. I mean, it's just like if she's playing tennis, maybe that's a different thing. But I mean, it's like she's just partying. She's just hanging out. And she'll find the time one day. She proposes.
When you look like that in that red dress from the first scene, I really don't think you have to do shit.
No.
Amazing.
Nah, she can do whatever she wants. I also would like to compliment her hair. I think the hair looks great. Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of it's like high volume, right? But still pretty. Like I think you can get away with that today, right?
Yeah, I'm always like completely jealous of the blonde, and yet it like this high sheen to it. I've never managed to achieve that.
Well,
how that's physically possible.
Catherine, you rock that look.
Naturally, on like dark hair, you get this beautiful sheen, but that whole kind of blonde, high, shiny look. Don't know how you do it.
Your hair's always giving me Grace Kelly vibes. Did she ever play Helen of Troy? Because she has a face that could launch 1,000 ships.
She has a very nicely shaped mouth. It's very good. Like everything else is great too. But
everything's very nicely shaped.
Yeah. In particular, the mouth stood out to me. But
she has a perfect nose.
Did it, Justin?
It did. Trisha. Guilty.
Yeah, did it.
It certainly did. Do we have any more thoughts about the explaining how we're going to murder my wife scene with Swan, who I guess, he gets roped in with this.
Okay, sorry.
What do you think, Shrishma? Tell me about it.
No, I just thought it was a really tense reaction to your wife cheating. Like, yes. I feel like he might have missed some steps before.
Yeah, and I don't understand why he couldn't have just divorced her and cited
irreconcilable difference.
No, cheating. What am I?
Oh, infidelity.
Yeah, infidelity. Sorry.
Okay,
Stepped out of my head. Yeah, I don't know why he couldn't just divorce her, cite infidelity. The court would like totally throw her to the wolves because a woman,
right,
doing a thing like that. Well, that just doesn't happen in this country. And he would have been entitled to probably half or more of her fortune anyway.
Yeah.
Like why?
Especially
right. It was very interesting.
Like
why
the
murder?
I mean, he would probably have got all of it. Like why? I don't know.
Why murder?
So in
this is an extreme reaction. Yes.
Oh, definitely, because it is. Well, a couple of things about this. Number one, Tony loves blackmail. He's obsessed with blackmail. He wants to blackmail everybody. It's like how he makes friends almost, like because he's chatting with all of his victims, but he loves to follow. Stalk, if you will. He loves to watch. He's a real watcher. Oh yeah,
he's a creeper. He's a fucking creeper.
Mm-hmm.
He lurks in the shadows. He's a peeper and a creeper, and he likes fucking with people. It's still mind games with him too.
Yep.
Carolyn,
I bet he was peeper and a creeper with Margot before they got married.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Let's also remember, let's keep in mind, since it's season 2, we've had hiatus just for our listening audience. Maybe we've got some new listeners out there. Welcome, by the way. We'd love to have you. But let's just remember that a lot of the people making decisions in these stories, they're drunk. Like we see it throughout this movie too. People are drinking those tall boys of Scotchy Scotch, and I mean, like maybe that's how Grace Kelly ends up with Tony. Like it's just, my inhibitions have been lowered constantly because we're all drinking all the time. It's just a thing to keep in mind. The peak of Tony's creepiness is when he's talking to Swan about how he was following him and his whole like stalking months of like trying to figure out a way to blackmail him because he loves to blackmail. That's what gets him off. He's really into it. But he says the words, it felt like he almost belonged to me, which,
Ooh.
I mean, that peak creep, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's around the time where Swan's like, well, this is bizarre. Gotta go. I have to get out of here. Thanks for the drink. Bye. Hey, everybody, we're just breaking in here as we do to tell you all about our incredible products on the Old Movie Time Machine TeePublic storefront. So I'm here with the whole gang. Guys, let's just take a browse through these products. Do you have any designs that are catching your eye that you would like to see, what you can do with them? Anybody?
Boardroom handies.
Yeah.
Boardroom.
Can I get an explanation for that?
Well, Catherine, I'm glad you brought... You should listen to our episode of Woman's World.
Yeah.
It is fully explained there. It's and actually, I think we have a clip on our YouTube page, Old Movie Time Machine, called Boardroom Handies, that you can listen to the short version. It's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, where we talk about where Boardroom Handies comes from. So if you'd like to check out YouTube to get some context, you're definitely going to want to see this design, though, on what would you like? I kind of like the mug. You know what I'm talking about?
That looks good.
It's a good looking mug, right? Boardroom Handies. What does it say? Business is booming.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Business is
Old Movie
booming.
Time Machine, where business is booming. That's right. Yeah. So Boardroom Handies, the mug. It's available for you now. This one is only $15. Free U.S. shipping for orders over $80. Can you believe it, you guys?
Christmas present.
That's some good stuff. And if you don't need a mug, why not get a throw pillow? I'm always talking about these pillows. I've never ordered one.
For your boardroom. Maybe.
Yeah, for your board. Shrishma.
Just to set expectations.
Just
I'm still not clear on what those expectations are.
yeah, Catherine, you're going to find out. I'll send you a link to the video.
No.
Hey, it's what, Catherine, it's what makes the business world go round.
I bet it does.
Yes, indeed. So, guys, check out the link is in the show notes, of course. If you don't know what the show notes are, it's the part of this podcast that you see on your phone, all the words describing the show. You will also find a link to our TeePublic store, and we would love for you to help us out. We are, of course, an independent podcast, and it's rough out there. We get hungry, right? So help feed us. Help feed our podcast. Get yourselves a Boardroom Handies mug or throw pillow or banner or pin. I mean, the options are fairly limitless. Check it out. Thank you so much as ever. And if you do get one of these things, we're going to thank you just like we will right now. Here we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now back to the show. Now, moving on to the murder, you guys. The murder that almost was, anyway. While his plan seems airtight in theory, shit quickly flies off the rails, starting with Margot's very normal decision to see a movie. It's mostly downhill from there. Using a guy's night out with Mark as his act, he calls home to wake Margot up and place her directly within strangling distance. Swan gets close to finishing the job, but is caught off guard as Margot desperately plunges some scissors into him, killing him almost immediately. Tony is forced into some on-the-spot foiled murder plot pivoting, but does a reasonable job of covering his tracks and supporting his wife. This is a great illustration by the filmmakers, Hitchcock, and the writers and the performers, everybody involved, of how quickly plans can go awry and how random people can be for all the plotting and scheming that Tony does to get this murder happening, to fulfill his little fantasy. I mean, stuff goes haywire like immediately. Like, she wants to go to a movie, and he's got to go through this whole song and dance about like, movies cause cancer. I just saw an article about it the other day in the paper. Like, he's doing everything in his power. Totally suspicious, by the way. And she does like, she's like, what is your problem? Like, what? Can I go see a movie? Can I go do something? Can I leave our living room? Another part of this, Shrishma, you had some thoughts about the latchkey, correct?
Yes. I feel like all of this could have been avoided if people just used keychains. But like, who carries around a single key?
Apparently, according to the movie, everybody quite
and they're all identical.
Yeah, and they all look exactly the same. And boy, there's no way to ever have a duplicate key made. So it must be either you or you did murder. Yes, the latchkey.
So I thought that was quite odd, but also get a keychain, guys.
For real, because there have to be other keys in your life, right? Like I live a relatively lock-free existence, but even I have got a key for the apartment. I got a key for my mailbox. I got a key for, just other things, right? Like I got a key for a storage unit, like we got keys, like put them all in one place. That's why we invented the key ring. So I'm just wondering.
Yes, agreed.
Maybe it hadn't been invented at that point.
A key ring? A centralized list for all keys? I mean, it's possible. It is entirely possible. And also, they do make a scene about the fact that they never lock that street door, which is insane to me. Like, lock your doors, guys. Small town London, I guess. Like, just make yourself at home. Come on in. This is, by the way, I know our normal thing that we do is we're studying American life. This is obviously set in the UK, so it's a weird way to start the season, but it's Hitchcocktober. You never know what to expect. Did this give you any kind of homesick vibes? The set in the US of London?
No, I mean, as I say, I think I was mildly taken aback that it in fact was set in London. I didn't pick that up until they started talking about pounds. I guess because I used to sort of seeing these people in Hollywood. American.
Yeah.
And there's that weird American English Hollywood made up.
Transatlantic
accent. Yeah. So I wasn't really entirely sure what I was listening to straight off the bat there. And it was a slow dawning. It's actually set in the homeland.
Yeah, I had to look it up because Ray Milland, who plays Tony, he struck me as he's sort of like an English Jimmy Stewart, sort of. But I wasn't sure if he was actually British. So he was born in Wales, so he's part of the kingdom. But definitely Stewart vibes, right? Mm-hmm. Like Hitchcock certainly has a type for his women and for his men, apparently. Like because like this is a real. Apparently, according to the rumor mill that is IMDb, Cary Grant was supposed to be playing this role, but either he rejected it or the studio rejected it because it's Cary Grant and he's just too darn charming. But this is the problem with IMDb trivia is we got both answers in there. So I don't know, pick one, I guess. Maybe we'll never know.
Yeah. I feel like Cary,
because I mean, this guy does not have charm or humor, really.
The character? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Milland is trying to give it some. He's not warm and engaging, but he certainly has presence. Like he's jolly about his sociopathy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he knows when to offer drink.
Exactly. He's a great host.
Yeah, exactly.
Such a cold-blooded
playing
killer.
A role.
Yes. Which is that's what they do, right?
Exactly.
I could see Cary Grant playing the crime writer.
Yeah.
Now, see, I find. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm trying to think of because my takeaway is that Mark is sort of like the beta here. Now he is like cucking the alpha, the sociopathic alpha, but also I don't know. He doesn't strike me like Cary Grant in that role. I think he's too big for that role. I could see Jimmy Stewart maybe like in his rope capacity where he's sort of like. He comes in and he's a character who sees a little bit more maybe and but is still kind of like charming. I don't know, you guys. It's hey, listener, let us know who you would like to play Mark Halliday in your version of Dial M for Murder. Partyline at oldmovietimemachine.com.
Do you think that this film could be effectively remade with a modern cast?
Oh, I'd love to see it, but it would have to be with like email and smartphones and all that. Like you could do it though.
Right.
I'm sure. Text M for murder.
Yeah.
Hashtag
TikTok
M for murder.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But you guys know there's this really good show on Apple TV called The After Party, which is like
yes, I've seen that. It's a great show.
I love that show.
Yeah, it's amazing. I hope they do another season of it.
They came out with season 2.
They did? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's 2 seasons out now.
Wow. Yeah. Sherlock, Carolyn, have you seen After Party?
Nope.
Okay, it's a good one. It's a murder mystery show.
Exactly.
Yeah, that follows characters at this party and everything. Oh, okay, season 2. I'm making a note of it. Looks like my week is set. Nice. Very busy. Lots to do. For all the scheming that Tony does, you guys, he forgets to wind his fucking watch. I mean, that is so infuriating and yet also so appropriate for, like, this is what the storytellers are trying to illustrate, is like how this stuff falls apart. But that is the perfect, most simple thing. But dude, this is like in our modern remake of this movie, this is like not charging your iPhone. Like, plug it in before you go out to set up your alibi.
Right.
It just makes me mad, you know? If you're going to do it, and he does so much work. Maybe that was the problem, actually, is he was doing too much stalking, too much blackmailing. It was distracting from the rest of his plan. But, I mean, this guy's got schemes and excuses for days. It's really impressive. Like, he's a good liar. Especially by the time we get through the failed murder, which, I mean, there's not, what do you discuss about it? Like, that scrapbook shows up because she needs scissors for the clippings, and those scissors are readily at hand when she needs them. I feel like he needed to be more quick about it or something. Like, there had to have been a better way than the way that they went. But there's enough time for her to stick him with some big old scissors, some Maggie Prescott sized scissors. And
I feel like he died very quickly.
It was
from just like one like slight tip of those. I mean, they were big scissors, but like, I don't feel like they kind of went all the way in. They were sort of hanging out a lot. Yeah, he died very, very quickly.
Okay, so my forensic analysis of this is that she plunges the blade of the scissors through his back, probably slides right between some ribs, maybe punctures his heart and his lungs if they're in the same area. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor, by the way. But whatever it is, she is puncturing something that is critical, something very vital, because he sort of like, he does this sort of like shocked man's face and then just immediately falls over in borderline comedic fashion. And then when he falls over, that further pushes the scissors into his body. Correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
So, I think she got a good spot. It was a lucky shot, 1 in a million, Doc. But she got it, and boy, this messes up Tony's plans. But he handles it pretty well, right? Like, he is in true cold, I feel nothing fashion. Like, he's all about handling the business, and he sends her off to bed. You know, she's like hysterical, and she's like, "Yes, darling, and we'll deal with this tomorrow. We'll deal with the murder in the body tomorrow. Don't worry, I'll take care of it." Again, you know, a sign of the times, I guess. Like, well, of course your wife. Hey, I'm the police here. Of course your wife is very upset and needs to just catch some Z's.
Keep it off.
Yeah, and you're definitely going to easily fall asleep right after somebody has tried to kill you in your own home.
Yeah.
Easy. Not a problem. Have a glass of warm milk and just tuck right in. We'll deal with it tomorrow.
Milk. Hot milk.
But back in those times, you know, as again, like offering drinks to everybody, no matter from whence they came. This is just polite society, right? This is how we do it. It's, again, stiff upper lip, button down. Well, of course. Let her handle her hysteria, and we will deal with this on the morrow, you guys. But speaking of, Chief Inspector Sabrina's dad enters the fray and starts asking a lot of sensible questions about motives and MASH letters, resulting in Margot being found guilty of murder and sentenced to death. Right before the execution, Mark visits Tony to convince him to take the blame for the attempted killing, letting his wife off the hook, but Tony is having none of it. Only some clever trench coat switching by CI Sabrina's dad is able to unravel the entire scheme, as Tony reveals his involvement by using the hidden latchkey he should not have known about, thus implicating himself and clearing Margot's name. Dial M for murder. Chief Inspector Sabrina's dad. Now, I make this reference. His name is Hubbard in the film, but he does play Sabrina's dad in the movie Sabrina, which might be coming soon on this very network. We talk about Sabrina an awful lot. Same year, actually. This was a big year for him. Sabrina's also 54. So this is really, his name is John Williams, not the composer. But John Williams, the second most famous one, great year for him. This is him at his peak, I would argue. And he also played this role on Broadway, I believe. So, and won a Tony, I think, or was nominated for a Tony. Again, this is all just loose trivia, very little research. If you're new to the program, we're almost like staunchly anti-research. So that's a part of what we do here. But how do we feel about now, Dr. Sister, you work in criminology. Mm-hmm. You are a doctor of criminology. How do you feel about, of course, our good friend and your husband, my brother-in-law, old David Time Machine? He was in the police many years. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about this investigation? Did old David Time Machine check this one out with you?
No, he did not. We did not have time. Oh. But he did say, because he asked us, like, what are you talking about this week? And then he was like, oh, I love Dial M for Murder. But loving a film and appreciating it from like an investigative standpoint are two very different things. I think it's more that this movie is somehow like charming, polite attempted murder. I think that I will say I appreciated that it wasn't like bumbling investigators, but like they clearly like knew something was up.
Yes. I will say that I myself was slightly fooled when Mark is like presenting his theories to Sabrina's dad. I think this is after she's been convicted, and he's like trying to, he's just like, he's grasping for anything. Like, let's get her out of the death penalty here. What about this? What about this? What about this? And Hubbard just like dismisses him. Like, like really, he's like, he raises a great point about the key. Like, well, what if he opened the door and then put the key back? Like, that's a great point. But Hubbard is sort of like, this is ridiculous. Get out of here. And I was kind of annoyed by that. But then I realized again, like by the end of it, like, oh, he knew he's onto this the whole time. So yeah, good for him. But he does a great job, I think, in this role of, I guess it's kind of like a Proto Colombo sort of thing. He even does the, I'm halfway out the door, turn around. Just one more question for you. He does the old Falk, and it's classic Colombo. But actually, Colombo is classic Hubbard, as it turns out, because this was before then. So Carolyn says,
looks like Carolyn's Wi-Fi went out.
Wi-Fi went out. Okay. We're hoping that she comes back, but if not, maybe she will send us her final thoughts. But the rest of us, there she is. Hello? We can hear you.
Okay, that's good. Sorry, my Wi-Fi died there for a moment.
These things happen. As noted before recording started, our show is a technical disaster each and every week.
Also, I'm pretty sure my computer is about to die.
It's part of culture. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Carolyn, real quick. I mean, we're almost wrapping the show, by the way. Anyway, so do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share? You have a Let's Talk Boom Room now for new listeners. Mm-hmm. We have a Patreon. The Patreon is currently on pause right now while we focus on our channel here. But if you want to join for the low price of whatever it was, $2 for the Thornhill, I think, you can go find our first 50 episodes, the uncut version. It's like twice as much material, you guys. Just go sign us like $2. You get all of it. Go listen to it. Join our Patreon. And then when we get new Patreon content, you will be first in line to receive it. But we call our Patreon the Boom Room. It's a fabulous museum of mid-century modern life. Filled with artifacts that we have gathered on our many excursions into the past. So let's talk about that now. Carolyn, do you have anything in particular from Dial M for Murder that you would like to put in?
The red dress.
The red dress. Margetts. You are going to go. Yeah, that's going to go in our costume wing, of course. Our our wardrobe wing. Wow, that's a tough one. Let's say that 5 times fast. Our wardrobe wing. Okay, it just has no meaning now. Shrishma Naik.
Yes.
Do you have something you want to put in the boom room?
If I had to take something, it would be her little stitching box or that accessory box that the stockings were in.
Yes. Okay. Just because you like to have a place to put things.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like it was like almost like crocheted or knitted, but it looked quite cute.
Okay. Great. Well, you've got it. So Shrishma wants the sewing box. Sherlock, you got anything that you want to put in the boom room? Share with the world?
Yes, I do. It is the moustache comb that Victor is using in the very last scene while he's picking up the phone to I don't know who and staring wistfully whilst combing his moustache.
I'm glad you brought it up. Public. Yes, I was wondering, because that is the final shot of the film is him on the phone, like doing that. I was wondering if that is a shout out to Poirot, because that Poirot is known to have a luxurious mustache and would occasionally, he's very meticulous about it. So I was just wondering if that was like an Agatha Christie shout out or some reference. I'm not aware of it. I haven't seen anything about it, or maybe it's just a character quirk for Chief Inspector Hubbard, aka Sabrina's dad. But okay, great. And I will take then, if those are the items you guys have chosen, I will take the latchkey, one of the latchkeys.
Oh,
I will take Margot's latchkey. I think that's the most disputed one. That's the one everybody's after. So let's do that. Final thoughts, though. Carolyn's Wi-Fi has gone out again. I don't know if we'll get her back, but Shrishma Naik.
Yes.
Dial M for Murder. 1954. Season 2. Hitchcocktober. We are back and better than ever. But do we keep watching this movie?
Yes, I really like this one, to be honest.
Okay. Did you have any final thoughts? Like, what's your biggest takeaway, I guess?
Although, obviously there were the usual tones of men doing dumb shit and trying to control women, all that stuff.
Yeah, classic.
Classic stuff and classic 1950s. It was a good, exciting murder mystery, and I really enjoy the genre. So I would say I enjoyed this one, even though they gave the whole plot away at the beginning. Still, it was exciting.
Notoriously, your least favorite part of North by Northwest.
Yes.
A movie that you have thumbs down multiple times.
But I feel like I was prepared for it this time. So I knew like this was what he was going to do.
Right.
So the thing is, or attempt to do, I think the fun is the fact that it unravels.
Exactly.
It lays it out like there isn't a flaw in the planning, but then life happens.
Right.
And it just unravels. And how far away from that plan does it end up?
Making it a more potent device, I guess, of explaining what's happening, rather than North by Northwest, where they're just like, and here's my summary on the next 70 pages of the script, and this is exactly what's going to happen. This is much more thrilling to see, the plan that we have been given go awry. So, okay, well, thumbs up from Shrishma Naik. I love it. Great. Katherine Sherlock. Dial M for Murder. Do we keep watching this thing?
Absolutely. Yes, definitely.
Okay. What's the biggest takeaway for you? Like, what do you like about this? Why do we keep it?
I think because it is intelligent and complex. And actually, I wonder whether this could be made today just because plots are so dumbed down these days.
Yeah.
I don't know that this would get the green light anywhere because I think studio bosses would just assume that, mainly the American public would not understand or be able to follow it.
I think actually, if there was ever a time to remake this, maybe now is the time, if only because murder mystery as a genre kind of got a kickstart, a restart from Knives Out and Glass Onion. People really seem to enjoy those movies, and they are, not unlike this kind of like complicated and blink and you'll miss it type of moments. And, so maybe that's the closest analog. Like if you like those movies, you will like Dial M for Murder. I think this is a very likable film.
True. Yeah. So maybe intelligent plots are making a comeback.
Oh God, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't spook me stuff. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that's why I really enjoyed the After Party. Because after a really long time, it was a genuine murder mystery, like going through like little clues and you almost solving it with them, right?
Exactly.
And I really enjoyed that. So
yeah. And that's the best part of this genre is if you enjoy it, is the best versions of these films. They're giving you everything you need to kind of solve the murder. Now, in this case, it's a murder gone bad. It's kind of different, but it's the ones I don't care for is when you get something that comes out of nowhere that there was no way for you to have known, where it's like, oh, it was this person the entire time because of reasons we did not indicate at all. That's the only time that goes south, but not the issue here. So thumbs up from Sherlock. Thumbs up from me as well. I love this movie. I've been watching this forever. I got to see this in a theater. I got to see this at the Redford Theater in Metro Detroit. My favorite place to go see an old movie projected. It was supposed to be the 3D version too, because this was shot for 3D.
Really?
And yes, it was. And Hitchcock didn't want to do it that way. This was like a Warner Brothers decision because it's the 50s and 3D was kind of hot at that moment. So I get, and there's not really that many reasons for 3D in this film. So apparently what I was reading today was that like a lot of the 3D comes from things in the apartment that are placed in the foreground. So you're getting different planes of action. And, so like if the camera moves past a lamp on a table in the foreground, that would give you that third dimension if the characters are behind it, something along those lines. But I was supposed to see the 3D version, which was re-released, but they sent the wrong to the theater. So I just got the 2D, but it was still excellent. So thumbs up for me. I'm going to assume, did Carolyn check in with, I'm going to assume that Carolyn likes this movie, but maybe we'll get her take later.
Yeah. I feel
it's not, it's 3 against 1. So like,
yeah, exactly. She's outvoted.
Yeah. By default, it goes in. It goes through.
The only other thing that I want to mention before we wrap it up is when Tony and Margot call their lawyer, when Chief Inspector Sabrina's dad is like, well, and then they, latchkey this and then he wipes his shoes off with the mud from the wetness outside on the thing. And they're just like, whoa. Okay, now we need our lawyer. They call up their lawyer and his name is Roger. And it is so funny. I'm obsessed with the way Roger answered his phone.
Oh, hello, Roger. Thank heaven you're in.
He sounds so surprised to be getting a phone call, this guy. Like, I would just imagine him to be like the loneliest man in the world, because when he answers the phone, he's like, hello? Like, he cannot believe he's getting a phone call. And like, you're a lawyer. Like, there's no, yes, so-and-so Esquire, Roger Esquire here, or, law offices of Esquire, Rogers Esquire. None of that. It's just like he cannot believe he's getting a phone call in 1954 that somebody wants to talk to him. And it's
he's just twiddling his thumbs in his living room, isn't he? Like,
so
is it time for a cocktail yet?
Yeah, somebody call Roger. Just give him some shine. Just check in with Roger. Ask Mark about his book and check in with Roger, because he sounds like he's struggling. He needs some more human contact. I mean, let's wrap it then. Dial in for murder. Listener, if you have any thoughts on this, please write to us. We do love to get your emails. We read them. We'll respond to them. We will address them. Please write to us, partyline@oldmovietimemachine.com. Dial in for murder. Let us know what you think about it. Is this how you would murder your spouse? Tell us.
Please consider other options before you come to the murder.
Yeah.
There are always other options, please.
Right. And on a similar note, tell us about your local regional pineapple or spaghetti dinner, because again, there are always other options, I guess.
Well, it seems so. Isn't that what the pineapple's about?
That's what I'm talking about, right?
Right.
Okay.
Choices.
Why don't we keep the Grace Kelly train rolling? Next week, same year. It's a huge year, 1954. We're going to be talking Rear Window.
Ooh.
A wheelchair-bound photographer spies on his neighbors from his Greenwich Village courtyard apartment window and becomes convinced one of them has committed murder, despite the skepticism of his fashion model girlfriend. That's right. We have the American Jimmy Stewart. His name is Jimmy Stewart, and Grace Kelly in Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. Next week, right here on Old Movie Time Machine. And until then, thank you so much, gang.
Thank
we'll
you.
See you next week, okay?
Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We did it. Season 2. All right. Bye.
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 Bye.